Hey guys, welcome to another video. Today we'll be talking about the SAT, and this is part 2 of my SAT math series. We'll be talking about the Heart of Algebra today with theory and practice. Our first essential topic is going to be algebraic expressions. So all an expression is its variables and constants combined, like 5x plus 6. An equation is letting two of these expressions to be equal to each other. A variable is like an unknown value with a placeholder such as x. Some properties of equality include that if a equals b, then a plus c equals b plus c. You're adding the same thing to two equal things, so they're going to be the same thing. In a similar fashion, ac equals bc. And also, the distributive property says that a times b plus c equals ac plus bc. Our next essential topic is going to be inequalities. So some properties of inequalities. If a is less than b and b is less than c, then a is less than c. Believe it or not, this might be obvious, but it is a very important property. Also, if a is less than b, then a plus c is less than b plus c. But if a is less than b, then ac is less than bc only if c is greater than 0. So we have to be careful here. Otherwise, if c is less than 0, then AC is greater than BC. Our third essential topic is the system of equations. Try to use elimination or substitution when solving system of equations. Basically, the elimination method is eliminating one variable first by multiplying both equations by some constants. The substitution method is by substituting like y for x or x for y and then solving for that variable. But note, when there is a contradiction, such as 5 equals 3, then there is no solution. When there is a true statement, such as 5 equals 5, then there are infinitely many solutions. There can only be 0, 1, or infinitely many solutions when dealing with two equations and two variables. Essential topic number 4, slopes and midpoints. The equation for a slope is the change in y over the change in x, or y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Horizontal lines have a slope of 0, while vertical lines have an undefined slope because you cannot divide by 0, as they have the same x values, so you divide by 0, but you can't divide by 0. The midpoint between 2 points is just the average of the two x values and y values, where x1 plus x2 over 2 and y1 plus y2 over 2. The next point is about parallel and perpendicular lines. If two lines are parallel, their slopes are going to be equal. Well, that is unless their y-intercepts are also equal, then they'll be identical lines. If two lines are perpendicular, their slopes multiply to -1, meaning that they are negative reciprocals. So to find the slope of a line perpendicular to another line, we basically take the reciprocal of that slope, then multiply that slope by -1. Next topic is linear functions. When two lines intersect, the point of intersection is the common solution to the equations. Actually, there can be more than 2 lines, or even 3 lines, or 4 lines, or 5 lines. Doesn't really matter. But the point of intersection, it needs all the lines to cross that point of intersection. If you go from left to right, a rising line has a slope, positive slope, while a falling line has a negative slope. Essential topic number 7, absolute value. The absolute value is always non-negative because it is essentially the distance from a value to 0 on a number line. So -1 and 0, they have a distance of 1, so the absolute value of -1 would be 1. For inequalities, logic it out. It really helps to think of the absolute value in terms of distances. Next topic is quadrants on the coordinate plane. This topic is very easy because you can just memorize the numbers and their associated quadrants on the plane. Finally, for our last topic, we have graphing inequalities. When graphing inequalities, again, just use logic. A general rule of thumb is the shade above the line when an expression is greater than a value, and when an expression is less than a value, the shade below the line. If you're really struggling, simply plug in a value to test the inequality, and a valid value should be in the shaded region of the inequality. Now that we're done with the theory, it's time for some practice. On with the problems. Now that you guys have learned all that theory, it is actually time to do some practice now. So starting out with the first question. First question is, if x minus 1 all divided by 3 equals k, and k equals 3, what is the value of x? Well, this is pretty straightforward, as if we have x minus 1 over 3 equals k, we can multiply both sides by 3 to get x minus 1 equals 3k. Then we add 1 to both sides and we get x equals 3k plus 1. Plugging in 3, we get x equals 3 times 3 plus 1. This means that value of x is equal to 10. So we have D as our answer. Moving on to the next question. On Saturday afternoon, Armand sent M text messages each hour for 5 hours, and Tyrone sent P text messages each hour for 4 hours. Which of the following represents the total number of messages sent by Armand and Tyrone on this Saturday afternoon? Well, if you send M text messages per hour for 5 hours, that means you send a total of 5M text messages. So Armand sent a total of 5M text messages because you multiply them together. So that's for Armand. And then for Tyrone, same logic applies, so it's 4P. And the total number of text messages is adding the two numbers up together. So we have C. Next question. According to the system of equations above, what is the value of x? Well, here's a simple elimination. So we have y equals negative 25 minus negative 9. I just subtracted equation 1 from equation 2. So now we have y equals negative 8, sorry, not 18, negative 16. This means that x equals 16 plus 9 because you add 16 on both sides. So that means that x equals 7. And this is our final answer. Next question. Again, we have a system of equations. I'm going to find a solution to x comma y to the system of equations above. Well, technically speaking, if you didn't know the answer, you could just try all the answer choices and plug all of them in to see what the answer is. But I actually want to solve this question instead of just cheating my way through. But it's actually not cheating. You can actually just plug all the answers choices in, and you'll be totally fine. So we have here, well, we can first multiply, let's see. Let's multiply the second equation by 3. So this means that 6y minus 3x equals negative 57. Adding the new equation with the first equation, we have 10y equals negative 90. This means that y equals negative 9. Wait, it's not true. Sorry, y equals negative 80. So y equals negative 8. Sorry there. If y equals negative 8, now we can plug in y negative 8 to the first equation to get that 3x equals 32 plus negative 23. So x equals 3x equals 9, so x equals 3. So this means it's B. Well, technically we don't have to solve for x because after we found that y equals negative 8, there's only one answer choice with y being negative 8. So that's technically all we needed to do. Next question. In the equations above, B and C represent the price per pound in dollars of beef and chicken, respectively, X weeks after July 1st during the last summer. What was the price per pound of beef when it was equal to the price per pound of chicken? Well, we just need to set B and C to be equal to each other. So B equals C. And we have an expression for both B and C. Solving for x, we see that 2.53 plus 0.25x equals 1.75 plus 0.40x. This means that 0.15x equals 0.6, if I did it correctly. Yes, that's right. So it means that x equals 4. Now plugging it back in, 0.25 times 4 equals 1. 1 plus 2.35 is 3.35. So that is the answer, which is D. Because we want to find the price per pound, not the number of weeks. So remember to solve for B or C. They'll be equal anyways. Next question. A food truck sells salads for $6.50 each and drinks for $2 each. The food truck's revenue from selling a total of 209 salads and drinks in one day was $836.50. How many salads are sold that day? So salad is $6.50 each and drinks is $2 each. So salad plus drinks equals 209. Because that's the total number of salads and drinks that are sold that day. And so 6.5 times S plus 2 times D equals 836.50. Now we have two equations to solve for. One is saying, again to re-emphasize, the total number of salads and drinks is 209. The other is saying it's $6.50 per salad, so you have to do 6.5 times S to find the total price of salads. $2 per drink, so 2 times D to find the total price for the drinks. Add them together to the total price, net price, which is 836.5. Now solving, we get that 2S plus 2D equals 418. 418.5 equals 4.5S. S equals, let's see, 418.5 divided by 45, so that equals, let's see. It should be 93 feet. S seems to be 93 here because that's the one that makes the most sense. 9 times 45 is 405. 135 divided by 45 is 3. So it should be 93. Next question. For what value of n is the absolute value of n minus 1 plus 1 equal to 0? Well, we see here that, the absolute value of anything is always going to be greater than or equal to 0, since all the absolute value is the distance away from the 0 point on a number line. Well, distance can never be negative, so it's always going to be non-negative. A non-negative divided plus 1 is always going to be at least 1, so it can never be equal to 0. So the answer should be D. Finally, one last question. It's actually graphing question. The graph above displays the total cost C in dollars of renting a boat for 8 hours. Which of the following represents a relationship between H and C? Well, we see here the y-intercept here. Let's see. Well, we know that C equals something H plus 5. And the slope is just going to be 8 minus 5 over 1 minus 0, which equals 3. So that something is going to be 3. So the answer should be C. C equals 3H plus 5. And we are done. If you enjoyed this video, please be sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel. It really means a lot to me. And please give a thumbs up, because if this video gets the 10 likes, I am going to drop part 3 of this SAT math series.